Well, hello, my dear ones, my brothers and sisters, my fellow warriors of the light, and my friends, my loving seekers of the truth. It's a good day, and I haven't even gotten a walk in yet. It's Thursday. What is it, the 22nd? 22nd? July 22nd, 2021. I'm going to read a poem today that I wrote back in November of 2006. This is about bouncing back, continuing, surviving, laughing in the face of adversity. Maybe boldness, maybe continuance, maybe a little bit of lightheartedness. Even in your heavy-heartedness, you can find some things to be grateful for and laugh. But first, I discovered this Tibetan proverb on Facebook. So apparently a Tibetan proverb, who knows? But it's great information anyway, and it seems likely. I wouldn't put it past them. They have been known to have a deep thought now and again in Tibet, in certain circles, in the monasteries with all those singing monks. The secret of living well and longer is eat half, walk double, laugh triple, I love that part, and love without measure. Sort of like what we need to do right now. I actually have a goal that's been a few years in the making, but it's more definite right now. It's more I've intensified it, eating less at a time. At first, I was cutting down my portions, and also, but I was eating more often. So, and also, this poem is called "Crow is Laughing, Birch is Bending," and I just want to let you know that for a $20 donation, and I'll have the link below in the comments section, how you can send a link to me. Send a donation to me if you would like a copy of this poem. Crow is laughing, Birch is bending. I will personalize it and sign it for you, and for a $20 donation or more. And just there's a place to leave in the notes section when you're donating to tell me, who to address it to, give me your address and let me know who I should personalize it, who I should greet, so to speak, when I sign it. Who do you want it made out to? In other words. So this is great. And, God told me, you have not, for you ask not. So I want to get my poetry published. This is one way to publish it, without it being in a book per se. Non-traditional is the way of the world right now, and more and more and more so. So it's one way to reach out to folks. You know, to hear me read it is one thing. To read it yourself is another, and to read along with me is another, uh, step in understanding. And this is a strong poem. This is one of my well-polished gems, as I like to call it. Only my tongue slightly planted into my cheek, because I am a cheeky monkey, Boynton being a very English name. Luckily, I'm American, so I also have Swedish, Irish, Blackfoot Indian, Scottish, French. So that's me, Mr. American. A Mainer first, a child of God first, a Mainer second, and an American third. That's sort of how that works. The Irish and the Blackfoot seem to influence me most as far as what draws me and my attentions, and have for most of my life. So there's been one or two pretty decent Irish poets. There's some amazing tribal, learned people. And the songs and histories, excuse me, of the ancient Celts of Ireland and the tribes of North America have some amazing similarities and obvious differences. But the Celts were quite tribal. They had their clans with a C. Don't freak out. Stay calm. You have to open your mind. You have to get out of the box, get out of the black box we've been programmed into so long. You say, if you say you want to help people get out of their addictions, and you instantly think alcohol or drugs, and then you go and watch TV for 3 or 4 hours. Guess what? Go look in the mirror. You're addicted. Stop watching television for 2 weeks and see how much you think about it. Your favorite TV shows, right? And that's a sign of addiction right there if you're thinking about it all the time. And you sneak a little look when the missus is out. Yeah, that's what addicts do, right? Drink the vanilla extract when no one's looking because you told them you weren't going to drink anymore. Eee. There's worse things than that people will drink when they're trying to stop after a lifetime of alcoholism. Bad habits. You can't just stop your bad habits without replacing them with something good. And eating too much is a bad habit. And for some folks, it could be to that level of addiction. So I enjoy food. I think, it's normal for everybody to enjoy it. But because I drink protein shakes, and if I make desserts, I use some of my Herbalife protein powder in the brownies, in the pancakes. is much more filling because it's much more protein. So I don't have to eat as much. And over 9 years of that, and then, really trying to, lately over the last few months, to eat less, still less than I was. I was already starting to eat less, but I wanted to drink more pure water and eat less food. Now, I'm not being ridiculous about it. I'm just eating smaller portions. I still eat more meals than most people, but smaller meals. And I eat when I'm hungry more than at a certain time. Yeah. So it's worked, 53 circles through the, all right, 53 years old, and I don't have a pot belly. I'm healthy. And I walk every day, and I love to walk. I eat smaller portions. I know people that are my age that want to pretend they're 18. Well, their metabolisms are different in your 50s than they are in your teens. So people eat the same portion. It's out of habit, just like plopping down and watching TV. Oh, I'm just going to unwind for a little while. It's just out of habit. There's, if you really want to watch the stars, go outside at night and do this. Especially if you live in the country. And if you don't, go visit someone in the country and do it. You can watch the real stars. That's good. How's that? All right. I am going to go for a walk soon, so I'm going to get going with this. And if you do make a donation, just thank you very much. And I'll also thank you later. But I'll invite you to my farm I'm going to buy. Give you some fresh produce. Cook you a nice, organically grown meal. See, it's an investment in your future. And, if you're into the rich and famous thing, then maybe someday if I'm rich and famous, you can sell it on Future, whatever eBay is then. You can sell the signed copy. All those things are going to change, but hey, do it quick enough and who knows. So anyway, let me see if I can get this out to you. Crow is laughing. Birch is bending. And anyone that's lived around where there's copses of birch trees, and especially if you have winter seasons like we do here in Maine, icy conditions will make the birches bend almost to the ground. Some of them bend to the ground and snap. But some, when the winter's thawing and spring is springing, they actually spring back up towards the sun, right? And we can do that too. I also liked I remember writing this one, and I used the blackness of the crow not as a metaphor for evil, but just as a juxtaposition to the white birch. I just thought that was an interesting contrast. But they both survive and continue in their own unique fashion. So, all right, here's that poem. A stream winds slowly through dark mountain forests. You are feeling foreign, residing in a city, Crow is laughing. Storms come crashing through mountain passes as violently as racing commuters jostling at rush hour. Birch is bending. Ancestors are calling. Come back. Come to us. Return to the beginning. Responsibilities press down upon your brow, twisting your stomach into knots. Crow is laughing. The spirit, the drumbeat, the ancient bone flute, to heal the torn corners of your once pure goodness. Birch is bending. A gentle, peaceful breeze dances with the branches and your hair. Must you return to the diesel-perfumed sidewalks? Crow is laughing. You smile serenely and sigh rather sadly. Memories of self-loathing people who would break you down with them. Birch is bending. The sun kisses kindly on a brisk autumn morning. You walk to remember the freedom days of hiking, to lighten the load on the grinding and the bumping, and Crow is still laughing. You cling to God's love as you scramble up granite cliffs. A skinned knee is nothing to heal compared to reassembling the oft-abandoned pieces of your nearly shredded soul. Yet, Birch is still bending. Here's old A.D. Boynton, 11/15/2006. Sometimes when you go for a long hike, it's hard to get back. It's hard to squeeze back into the box after you've been free. So look, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you very much. I love you. I am going for a walk. It looks like it might rain again this morning, but I put it in order, so I'll probably not get too wet. Might bring my raincoat anyway. Doesn't hurt to be ready. But I like to get my feet stretching before I get working too much. I've been up since 4, and it's just 6 o'clock now. So I actually probably work for a couple hours, then go for a walk. Life is good, and it's getting better. Yeah. So remember, we're here to heal people. We're here to feed the hungry. We're here to clothe those who don't have clothing. We're here to cast out demons and protect our brothers and sisters with love and light. Don't forget to give great thanks to your papa. Be grateful. Be loving. Be kind. Be patient. I'm seeing people that have given up. They either only half believed, or they didn't believe, or they trusted some kind of time deadline. I think we all had a couple of those over the last year and a half. Just keep in mind this, okay? And then I am going to scoot. If somebody says they know exactly when God is going to do something, they're guessing. Now, I'm not going to say they're lying because that is intentional, and they may just be very hopeful. They may have heard somebody else say something and believe the other person. They're misled. They're mistaken. It's honest. They still are trying in love to give you encouragement, but don't trust a certain date, because most of these dates are given out to, when you're hunting birds, you flush them out, you make them fly, then you can shoot them. But if you don't frighten them, they stay hidden in leaves, and you'll never see them. So that's kind of what the white hats have been doing with the liars. They flush them out. So if they say, we're going to do this on this day, you get a reaction, because evil always does a knee-jerk reaction. Okay? So it's good that has order, that has self-control, that has love. Evil doesn't have those things. Evil has reaction, emotion, fear, and anger. A couple other things. Lying, cheating. We've seen plenty of that. But they think we think like they do, and they can't think like we do. Where we can think like each other thinks, we can step into someone else's shoes. That's what mankind does. It's one of God's gifts, because that's what God does. But the swampy critters have cut themselves off from God, and they can't think that way. So you can flush them out by using their perceived greatness, which is a weakness, their egos, their fears, against them. But don't let them goad you, because remember, they think we're thinking like they do. So they think if they threaten us, we have to fight back, because everyone's reactionary, right? Wrong. Patience is most of us have heard this, some of us don't always believe it. It's a virtue. That's the truth. It's biblical. Ignorance is bliss. That's a lie. Knowledge is bliss. And sometimes a challenge, but that's when you have to go seek out more knowledge. Or sometimes seek out serenity. We will never know everything. My beautiful, wonderful, amazing 7th grade teacher. She was a science teacher, okay, and she was my homeroom teacher. And she taught us to think. And one of the great things that she taught us was, the more I know I don't know. That's a lot to think about in 7th grade. Thank you, Mrs. Jones. God bless you. She was so good. She didn't tell us what to think. She showed us how to think. And there's precious few teachers that did that. There's probably less even now, because schools, well, now I can't get off on that, but I can't get off on that trail today. They are indoctrination centers for the most part, instead of allowing children to learn how to think. It's all designed by Marxists, and it's going to end soon. These public schools, no, That's not what they were meant to be at first. And they're harming children and teaching them to regurgitate facts and figures instead of teaching them to debate with respect, to think and to see through others' eyes, and to understand each other, and to reason. None of these things are taught. Memorization, follow instruction, do this at that time, do that at this time. That's all they teach. Worthless crap. Okay, so that's going to be redesigned. We're going to teach the kids. We're going to teach the kids by leading the kids to observe their natures, each other's natures, God's nature, in nature. Imagine that. That's how it used to be done. That's how our ancestors taught the young ones. Hands on, eyes on, minds on. Not this memorization bullcrap. Now, okay, if you're going to memorize something, memorize a poem that gives power to words and freedom to people. Memorize a song that uplifts people on an instrument with your instrument. Something like that, yes. Memorization is great. But just to barf up a bunch of facts and figures so you can get an A on a test? Look, I was an AB student. I bought into all that crap. But I also realized they're teaching us the same thing every year. It's just the same thing to memorize the same thing. So I went and I found things on my own that held my interest. And so I was lucky that I could do that at an early age and seek out the information. So you guys, look, keep planting seeds of what is going on, but make sure you don't dump the whole bag of seeds on someone's head at once. Plant a seed, like plant one little bit of information. Remember, when you were first becoming aware of all the lies, you weren't at the level you're at now. Well, don't get mad at someone else because they're not seeing things as clearly as you might right now. So you plant a seed. So a lot of times God or someone else, which is still hand of God, someone else will water the seed. Okay. And sometimes you'll be watering the seed that someone else already planted by giving them a little bit of information that backs up with someone that they trust but didn't believe at that time. You might give them a second bit of information that backs up the seed that someone else already planted. And we're all still learning, so don't get high and mighty about it. If you start looking down your nose at people because you have some facts and figures that they don't see yet, then you're subdividing for the enemy. That's what the enemy does. Don't subdivide. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all children of God. Don't subdivide. That's what the enemy uses and has used to conquer us over and over and over and constantly through history. And I am so excited that I see so many more people now just going, nope, that's not true. You're not going to start a civil war again. No, you're not going to start a nuclear war again. No, we're not. That's not what we're doing. We're growing out of that. The kids are growing up. It's beautiful. And I'm going to get going because I love threes and we're coming up on a 3. 30 minutes. I'm going to stop. Bye.